She got out, then hit the live button. Oh, there you go.
I bet. All right, in three, two, one. All right, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. I know it's been a long time coming. I know we done had a huge silent period, but we are back. We want to welcome everybody to another great and special episode of Training the Trainer podcast. I am your co-host, Jamar Richardson, aka JMR Basketball, and my co-host.
I'm Sean. I just want to let the people know it wasn't my fault we haven't been potting.
Right.
Just gonna throw that out there. It's not my fault. You know, Jamal got big time, went to the playoffs at courtside, front row. He just said, "Forget the pod, bro." You know, he was on another type of time. He even went out with me one weekend. Was like, "I'm not drinking, Sean. I'm focused right now." Blah 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 blah. So we back. I'm just saying we back now, though. I'm gonna make sure we keep this flowing at least once a week. I ain't asked for much, Maul. Just once a week. We just get on the pod. People know we out here moving and grooving, shaking and baking. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But yeah, I'm here. Let's go.
Okay, good. I know you had to get that out. Okay, good. I know you had to get that out. So I got you, my dog. You know what I'm saying? We back in motion. You know what I mean? But man, we got a huge special guest with us tonight, man. One of the legends in the 615 world basketball community. And I'm gonna say this, man, one of the legends in basketball sports, period. From on the court to the broadcasting, one of the most energetic, the most bright-hearted, lighthearted, one of the most fun-loving people, man, that I know, man. I call him OG for a reason. Mr. Ron Slay. Let's give him a round of applause one time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, what up, fellas?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. OG, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good, dog. It's good basketball going on. Playoffs here. Everything's good, man. I'm loving it right now.
Big time, man. Well, excited, man. We're excited about having you, man. Well, first off, we greatly appreciate you and your time and taking time out to, man, come chop it up with us, man. And we excited to hear your story, man, and just fellowship and connect, man. So it's gonna be great, man. So we appreciate you again for sure.
No doubt, man. I've been peeping y'all. I've been checking y'all out. I've been waiting on the call.
That's love. Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So I'll let you go ahead and kick it off, brother.
All right, let's jump right into it. Before I ask this first question, I just gotta let Slay know, you really was a GOAT when I was a kid, bro. Like, I remember me and my pops driving to Pearl-Cohn just to watch you play. And I was like, who is Ron Slay? I left like, damn, I know who the hell Ron Slay is now. Like, I will never, ever forget that. I was probably like in the 6th, 7th grade, probably somewhere in that age range. And I was in Pearl, and I was just like, damn, Nashville basketball is different than Murfreesboro. I can't even lie about this. This is a different type of environment, but I love it. So I gotta say that first of all. But jumping right into it, like I said, you're a Nashville legend no matter what you may think. So tell us about your journey. Who put the basketball in your hand first, and give us a few names and stories about who impacted you all the way up through high school.
Man, that's loaded right there, man.
It's supposed to be.
My mom put the ball in my hands. Intentionally or unintentionally. It remains to be. I had to let her tell that part. So she was coaching at TSU. I grew up a TSU kid. She was coaching volleyball up there, cheerleading up there. So I grew up in that era with Darryl Brooks, who just got his 3-point record tied. This year, I believe? Might have been this year. Just got his 3-point record tied by DJ Boyd. So shout out to him for getting that done. That's a legend right there, man. Carlos Rogers, Anthony Mason, Hound he was gone by then, but we still knew who he was up at TSU. So all that, Coach Frankie Allen, all those guys, watching them play, and then you had Vanderbilt right down the street. They were bubbling, with the hoops, Ronnie Mack and Billy McCaffrey, and the list goes on and on. What they had going on. So the city was always hopping with basketball. So I used to be up there with my mom when she would be coaching and stuff, and the cheerleaders would practice up on the track. So I would be down there while the basketball team was practicing. I'd just be watching. sitting there watching. Then I became a ball boy, and man, it kind of just took off from there. Playing junior pro with Coach Fitzgerald. We were the Tigers. They had a big team. Buck Fitzgerald and them were on the big team. And I was always, the little dog in the sense. I was younger than everybody, and watching them guys, man, I raved. I raved watching them. Let me see. Growing up, I was a Magic Johnson fan, Isaiah Thomas fan, Jordan too, but more so Magic and Isaiah. Like those were the guys I loved to watch a lot. You only get a couple channels back then, so you go out and wait on Sunday, so you watch the NBA, and that was it. That was it. My mom was a athlete. My pops was an athlete. He played football at TSU. They had 500-pound backfield, so it had him and Larry Kennebrew. So both of them 250 apiece. One playing fullback, one playing running back. So that's when TSU was serious. Big John Mayer was coaching. He used to get babysitted by Coach Gillum during the practices. There's all kind of stuff. So man, I'm deeply rooted in TSU. So I would have to say, man, my love came from being up at TSU with basketball and kind of just seeing the guys. They you always take the little fella, and let them go get the ball for you, or rebound for you, go get you some Gatorade, whatever it may be. So that's where a lot of my hoop dreams came from, watching guys like that up at Tennessee State and also at Vanderbilt as well. So that was pretty much it, man. I had a lot of influences. Just watching the pro game, and then right here in our city, we were. It was different. I mentioned Howell McLean, so Pearl High had a team. North High had a team. It was so much history running through the city. You wasn't really gonna miss. You wasn't really gonna miss. When you started looking at White's Creek, and this is when I'm like 10 years old. Being up there and watching other teams play. My mom was always at the Boys and Girls Club, working at the Boys and Girls Club, so that kept me around it as well. Watching guys. We were at Martha O'Brien Center out east, growing up out there, Shelby Center, going out west, going out north, Andrew Jackson, living out there. So it was all sports. We wasn't staying in the house. We was trying to get out of the house to go hoop. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about it's maybe one light. The light don't even light the court up, but we still out there trying to get to it. So that was it, man. It was just competitive. Your friends, everybody played sports growing up. You ain't had that phone to distract you from nothing. You ain't had no games. We couldn't just afford the Nintendos and stuff right then. You know what I mean? So we had to go outside, create our own fun. So that was pretty much it, man. I had a lot of people. I like to say the Nashville kind of sculpted me into who I was as far as the love of the game. But that all came from my mom, though.
Beautiful. That's big time, man. Going back to what you just said too, OG. Just in regards to being outside, just being active, and more importantly, I remember my dad used to tell me stories how they used to go, from center to center all over the city. You know what I mean? Whether it was football, basketball, baseball, and he used to tell me, man, like it was almost like it's like a little pride thing too, man, in regards of what side of town you was from, but you go and compete. You know what I'm saying? If you was at Cleveland, you go over to the Hardman, you go to Rose Park, you know what I'm saying? And they had like leagues, and so now that's big, man. But more importantly, I think what I take away from you though is it's gonna kind of segue into my next question for you, but just how I think you being able to be in all those different parts, and how all those things influenced you. You know what I mean? Seeing the different players from the different sides of town, and you kind of got a sprinkle of the whole flavor and the whole love of Nashville. You know what I mean? And I think that's super dope, man. And so the follow-up question, man, you kind of talk about your experience at Pearl-Cohn, man, and just talk about high school basketball back in your time. Because again, like Sean, I grew up coming to watch you play. You know what I mean? Watching you and watching Big John. Big John Henderson, man. That Pearl-Cohn team was one of the most historical, one of the best teams in and not just in Nashville history, but in Tennessee State history. You know, in the state of Tennessee high school basketball history, man. But watching guys like you, Marcus Kinzer, Odell Bradley, Penny Collins, like, you know, coming up and watching you guys compete and play. But kind of just talk about, man, your experience at Pearl and just kind of the stature and the state of basketball back then, kind of in comparison to how it is now in the city in regards to, you know, compare and contrast type situation.
Man, well, back then, that man. First of all, man, you hit on something great. That was it. Like you went to the centers. Like you wasn't running around with AAU teams at the time. You was playing for your center. Like I'm playing for Martha O'Brien, or we going to play Cleveland. Cleveland, like you said, Cleveland Center, or Red Shield. Like we was all over Rose Park, everywhere, man, everywhere. But you had to go with your center. You know what I'm saying? Like we was traveling to Clarksville and everything to play. So it was. Yeah, that was different. Springfield as well. Like we playing the little country towns, you know, in the leagues. But man, that was it right there, dog. That was it. I think and like you said, a lot of it got sprinkled into me. Because out east, hooping was totally different than it was out north. It was totally different than it was out west. You know what I'm saying? So being able to stay on all those sides, you know what I mean, moving as we were when we was little all the time. Yeah, I did get a lot of different games and watching people and being able to shoot. I remember getting beat up. Like that's where a lot of my physicality came from. I remember, man, out north before I get to Pearl, it was a guy, man, Big Hub. We call him Big Hub, Big Corey. Man, he was probably 6'5", 340.
Man.
But could move, had some good feet, good hands. And I don't know why I'm guarding this man. I'm probably about 7th, 8th grade, man. This man putting me up under the basket. I'm talking about, you know, that's when they had them poles coming up out the ground. He banging me against the pole. I'm like, hey, man, come on, man. Like, what I'm supposed to do? He ain't count. You know what I mean? You gonna get tough or figure something out. Better learn how to front or do something. So, yeah, man, I took a lot of that. But, man, when we got to Pearl, that was some different hooping. You know, to see all the talent. And it wasn't just our school. You know, Pearl had talent. Whites Creek, Maplewood, Stratford, Hillsborough, Glencliff, Antioch. Like everybody was popping, man. So you didn't have guys you had two good guys on the team. Like everybody had a team with 12 guys and all of them could go.
Facts.
All of them could go. You know, we were just fortunate to be able to have guys at Pearl, man, that we kind of all grew up together. Started with junior pro, and it kind of trickled all into Pearl-Cohn, and a lot of it fed off of football as well. So it kind of went hand in hand, football and basketball. But getting to Pearl, man, the competition was just different. It was different. I remember when I got up from West End to Pearl-Cohn. Me and Terry Reynolds both got to Pearl at the same time, and Latair was coming. Latair was already the man. Like there wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You heard about him over at Lytton. Like, who is this? They had a team, him, Tonio, Sid, Wimp. Yeah, they had Wimp, all three of them on the same team, man. Like it was like, man, in middle school, dog, them dudes was just dominating, you know what I'm saying? So when me and Terry got up at a Pearl, we kind of took it by storm, you know what I'm saying? We jumped on the freshman team. You know, you're only allowed to play 6 quarters. So me and Terry would play 3 quarters on the freshman team and 3 quarters on varsity. So we got the freshmen. We ran it out, won the championship. Ended up playing Maplewood for the city, beat them, and then moved on up. Got my bad, Ma. My bad, Ma. I just got to tell the truth, man. I got to tell the truth, shame the devil, man. So, man, you had that, man, and you got so we get up on varsity, but by this time, man, they loaded. We got Lefty, Antoine, Antoine Bradley, call him Lefty. We had Big John, got Tall Drink, got Boosie, who was, man, Boosie, one of the most underrated guys to walk through Nashville. Marshall Hyler, man, like this young man could really just take over a game. So score 18 straight, 20 straight, smoothest game, mid range, all three levels at that time. And it was wild, man, because what y'all doing now, you know what I mean, training. I can't recall us having trainers. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in like that's a yeah, I'm trying to tell these kids all the time, man, that's a cheat code what you got, man. You got the resources to go train. Like we get that from the big cities because they got NBA teams and stuff like that there. So it kind of trickled down to, the next level, college, high school, on down to middle school. We didn't have that. You know what I mean? We just had to go out there and hoop. Figure it out on the fly. You got practice. You just gonna play a whole lot. Your instincts was good, so you had that, man. But at Pearl, you got all those guys. You got Big John. You got Andre Starling. You got BT, Warren, McKinley Young, Chris Franklin. Like it was deep, man. It was deep. Like I remember my freshman year, I couldn't even get on the court for real. My first, no, I hate to say it, no,
Damn.
but my first game was against Maplewood. Who was Whitworth, Josh Kelly. They had Wimp. Wimp was a freshman. He was starting with them. Big Gary Pullins, my guy. They had a ball, man. Y'all girls teams was cold too.
Oh yeah,
But
so
Angie and them and Carrie and them, shout out to them. But
big time.
man, I get in the game. I'm nervous. I'm nervous, boy. So I get in the game. They get to me on the baseline, and I do a reverse. I'll never forget it. My first 2 points. Man, the way that crowd erupted, it did it for me. It was over. It was over. I was never going back. Like,
Addicted. He was addicted.
yeah, hey boy, it gave me that adrenaline shot, boy. I'm out there fiending for it. You know what I mean? That crowd, that excitement. And mind you, at this time, it's only standing room only in these gyms, in every gym across Metro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Standing room only. You got to come with it. You got to show out. You know what I'm saying? But we ended up beating Maplewood, so that was the start of my career varsity. You know, but y'all had a hell of a squad, man. But Pearl was just different. We had good leadership. Buck Fitzgerald was our point at that time. So we had a lot of good leadership, man. Coach Collins was doing his thing. Him and Coach Fitzgerald on the bench at the same time was real good for us. So it was a different level of competition. I'm still running around, probably playing about 8, 9 minutes at that time. You know what I mean? Talented as all get out. You know what I mean? Probably about 6'4" at that time. Skinny, probably about 185. You know what I mean? But athletic, you know what I mean? Knew my role on the team. And then as the years went on, it just kind of advanced. But we were always look at it, man, and you try to compare yourself to others to kind of see where you are. That was your measuring stick. You know what I mean? Wasn't no social media be putting on highlights and what you did. You just gotta wait on it. You reading in the paper the next day. You like, hurry up, get the paper, see who did this, who did that. Yeah, man, it wasn't nothing like James Stewart. Wasn't nothing in here like James Stewart in my era. You know what I'm saying? James set the I always give him props, man. He set the bar so high. Like this man here, they was calling him Little Man. James Little Man Stewart had the mid-range game. He was gonna post up. He gonna knock down the three. Athletic to go in there and finish. He was gonna rebound. Handles was solid. You know what I mean? Solid enough to get where you wanted to get to. But man, it would remind you of a game of kind of like Melo. He had that mid-range, big boy, big body game. You know what I'm saying? And James was the guy, man. James Stewart was the guy. You better bring your lunch pail messing with White Creek and James. Then it was also loaded. Like we can go through all the teams, man. They had Desmond and Terrence Van Leer, Eric Joyce, McFarland. Like teams was loaded, man. But you had to bring it night in and night out. You know what I mean? When we say all this, and I ain't even mention Charles Hathaway over at Hillwood. It was McDonald's All American. When you talk about going pro out of high school, if it would have been Ian then, and if he didn't break his foot or whatever he did to his foot, he would have left out of high school. 6'10", coming from the dots, 2 foot, and I mean leaning. 6'10", about 245, and giving you everything you wanted. So it was good, man. Like the competition was different. It was different, and it was iron sharpening iron every day in practice, man. So it was fun. It wasn't nothing like it. Wasn't nothing like it at Pearl, man. We had family. We had a family atmosphere. Everybody supported each other. You didn't have to rant and rave. Hey, come to the games. This, that. They was coming. It was the show. You know what I'm saying? It was the show. Everybody, it's shutting down. You know what I mean? From football on to basketball. And like you said, with that son of pride, it kind of carried over to high school.
Yeah.
You had pride, you know what I mean? And nobody was disrespectful or nothing, but everybody represented their school and you knew it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was that was a hell of an era, man. Hell of an era. And I think it all trickled down and got the foundation set for guys like Penny. To
Mm-hmm.
come on, Lil Penny and them to come on, Hassan and all them dudes, they carried it. Stratford did the same thing with Marco and all them. Like it was cool, man. But like Sean, like y'all said, man, they was coming to games then. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they were seeing where the tradition and the ball was set, and they wanted to live up to it because you knew what the hype was. You go anywhere, you know what I mean? Anywhere, ain't no you hanging out at the on the block or anything. No, man, you ain't none of that. You better get your ass in the gym or something somewhere, man. You don't belong out here. You feel me? That's the real OGs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get the hell on
Right.
away from them, man. We used to wear shorts up under whatever you got on, jeans, sweats,
Oh
whatever,
yeah. Oh
because
yeah.
you got
Come
to
Fact,
be
on.
ready to
Yeah.
bump
fact.
Come
at
on
any
now.
given minute.
Talk about it, OG. Talk about it.
Any
Yeah.
minute,
Talk
man. You
about it.
better be ready to bump, dog. You ain't got no hoop shorts on. Oh, you ain't no hooper.
There
Yeah.
ain't no
What you
hoop.
talking
Nope.
about? Yeah,
Nope.
man, you better come on up out them sweats, man. Come on up out them jeans. Let's get it on. You know what I mean? Keep two t-shirts on. You know what I mean? Because one of
Mm-hmm.
them, you got to come up off this one. You got to have something to hoop it, man. It was serious, man. And this go down anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere it's going down. So,
For
yeah, man,
sure.
I miss that part of it, man. You see it kind of getting back to that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But you just got so many other things as far as AAU and stuff involved where you can't really get it in the city. And then you got people poaching kids up out of schools and stuff like that. So it's a little different now.
Yeah, definitely different time. But I think, man, like you said, man, that era of basketball, man, it was definitely. I'm gonna say this, man, it was definitely inspirational. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because it gave, like you just said, it gave, like just for me personally, man, it gave me something to shoot for. You know what I mean?
right.
And like you said, being one, just taking pride in the city, two, taking pride in your neighborhood where you're from. You know what I'm saying? And going to that respective school, it was almost like, man, like, me, going to Maplewood, my whole family lineage went to Maplewood, but like it was a sense of pride for me, man. Like I didn't want to let my school down. I didn't want to let the east side down. You know what I'm saying? That was a huge thing for me. So that's one of the things that kind of like just really inspired me to go hard. You know what I mean? To really just, dedicate myself and work on my game. But again, seeing y'all play, watching y'all play, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I remember coming over to Pearl. Matter of fact, I remember coming over to Pearl White's Creek game. Me and my dad went to the game. And
Yeah.
they always told us, you want to get, if you want to get a guaranteed seat, you got to get to that girls' game. And like you said,
Yep.
back then the girls' games would be jumping too. And
So did.
we got. I never forget this, man. I'm talking about, man. It was at Pearl. I'm talking about, man. The cars was. It was so packed, man. You know what? Football stadium, man. That whole parking lot just
Come on.
nowhere apart, man. We walked up to the entrance, man. Police, man, cut every man. They said they turning everybody away. So we walking
Yeah.
up, man. Hey, it's packed house, ain't no more
Yeah.
room. And I never forget, man. I was damn near getting ready to cry. And my dad done. My dad said, "Hold on, son, are we gonna get in?" And my dad done, he done went and found a little back door entrance. Man, man, we got up in that thing, man. When I tell you, man, the energy
Mm.
and just the atmosphere, it was
Electric.
like like it was just phenomenal. And I never forget, man. Like I didn't sleep that night. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, just being in that and watching like high level basketball, like you said, man, just the talent level from top to bottom, like seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th man can go.
Yep.
They can go start. They can go start for a lot of schools. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It was that deep, man. But I think, man, that era of basketball in Nashville was by far one of the best eras that we've ever had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like and there's another thing I took away from what you said too, right? You was throwing out some nicknames. If you had a nickname, you cold. I mean,
You had to have
true.
one.
You know what I'm saying? You
You
get a
had to have
nickname,
one.
you get a nickname in the city, you trio, you
You
cold.
had to
You know what I'm
have
saying?
one.
Yeah, you get a nickname, you cold. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
it wasn't nothing like on Friday nights. You know what I'm saying? Great game, and then you got that barbershop talk on Saturday, and
You
then
know it.
I know for y'all, Slade, I know y'all going back to the center to hoop after
Yep.
just getting through playing on Friday night. Y'all going
Yep.
back to the center Saturday morning, getting it in again. You know what I'm
You better
saying? So
believe it. You better believe
man,
it.
that era of basketball was just different, man. It was very, very, very inspirational, man. I'm glad I got the opportunity to come up and grow up in that, man, and watch y'all kind of set the way, man, to set the standard. And like you said, we're starting to slowly get back to that, man. I think, it's a different, things change. It's a different era with social media and things to that degree. But I think they're starting to find, these kids today, they're starting to find it their way. You know what I'm saying? They're starting to drop. But I do wish they could go back and experience what I got to experience by watching y'all play. You know what I'm saying? I think, and that goes a long way, man. I really do.
And I really think, man, that it was in that era, nothing was given, man.
Nah.
Nothing was given, though. You had to earn everything, like you said, with the nicknames and like you had to earn everything, man. And that's what made it good too, man. Like it was fun. You always felt you knew when you arrived. Like you didn't need nobody to tell you, like, hey man, do right there, cold. Like you cold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you check in the game, or when you run out the tunnel, like you know what time it is, man. Everybody hollering your name for a reason, and you gonna deliver. That was the thing, man. Like people were delivering, dude. Like and like you said, get there for them girls game. The girls games was the talent was like our girls talent always been here in the state. Period.
So
You know what I'm saying? The girls level always been there. And the guys, man, would feed off that, man. Because like you said, get there for the girls game. Like we used to go. Like man, we want to watch the girls game. We want to see, especially like you got guys like Angie and them coming. Man, Maywood coming. I'm going to see Angie Hassel play. I'm going to see Kerry Hassel play. Like I grew up on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to watch it. Like I was saying at TSU, the Carolyn Aldridges and people like that. Like that was my Shamiko Holtzclaw. Before I ever met Shamiko, Carolyn was the truth. Like people don't know, man. They got to go do their homework, man. Like that. Hey, man, Carolyn was different. Carolyn was different, man. My mom actually helped recruit her to Tennessee State. So, man, I've been a lover of the girls' game. I've been a lover of the game, period. But that was yeah, you absolutely right, dog. You don't get there for that girls' game. You out of luck. you ain't gonna have no seat. I'm sorry.
I just think as a whole in y'all's era, the whole state of Tennessee was just in a good place in basketball, period.
It was.
From Memphis to Knoxville to Chattanooga with Brainerd, who was in Memphis coming out. You got to think about Vincent Yarbrough was in high school at that time. You got to think about Tony Harris in Memphis at that time. You can go on and on about that era of basketball.
Oh, look, man.
In that
I'm telling you right now, Sean. Like, listen, you hitting on it right now. Like that was, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I didn't think. Hold on, Siri. What you talking about? What's Siri trying to pop up for? Hey, I didn't think that it was real hooping going on outside of Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about Memphis, like when we did start getting AAU, you had Memphis Ottawa, you had Memphis YMCA. Like, man, them teams loaded. Yeah, man. Yeah, Memphis Ottawa got Robert O'Kelly and Tony Harris in the backcourt.
Hold on.
Wait, for you kids that don't know, Robert O'Kelly was different. Robert O'Kelly went to Wake Forest. Robert O'Kelly was a problem.
Come on, man. Either one of these boys can go for 40.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Then you go down low, they got Big Will Smith. They got Paris London down there. They got Snap coming off the bench. Snap coming off the bench.
You don't know about Snap Hunter, man. Don't know about Snap Hunter.
Hey, dog. Like, you talking about some hooping? Man, that was it, dog. You know what I mean? Like, and that used to be our tester. That was our tester. Like, how good are you? You know what I'm saying? We go down there and play them. You better come with the gym. Gonna be just as packed. Memphis Ottawa versus Music City Players. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. If you was on them teams, you was rock and roll, whether it be the 16 and under, 17 and under, or my group, the 15 and under. We rocking and rolling with it. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta come with it, dog. And so, man, we'll get to it later. But when I went to ABCD camp, I'm looking like, dog, what? All these dudes, where the Memphis cats at? You know, like, God, I know I can hoop with them because once you get on that AU stage and you battling with Memphis Ottawa, you can beat them. Man, you can play with anybody. I'm sorry, you can play with anybody. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts to it. You know what I mean? But that was one thing, man. I never was able to understand the magnitude of the hooping going on in the United States. It was about Tennessee. I felt we was the coldest thing moving on the planet. You got Mercer, you got Dante, you got guys out here setting the bar. You know what I mean? I'm like, we got the number one player in the country in Mercer. That's coming off the heels of David Vaughn. Like I don't need to see nothing else. I know I know what hoping look like. You know what I mean? So like you said, man, it was going from east to west with it, man. Like Chattanooga Brainerd, Tyner, and CJ Black to Shambi High, Harris Walker, Johnny Goodman. Like
you naming all the legends when I was a
man,
kid. This is crazy.
These people was cold, man. I'm talking about I'm sitting on the bench as a freshman and sophomore, like, damn. I got to do something. I got to do something, leave an impact, because these people know these people name. You know what I mean? And that's when, you know, my sophomore year, I started to get a little bit more run. You know what I mean? At Pearl, I was still coming off the bench. Average about 15 to 7 coming off the bench, man. And that was cool. James Stewart and them was seniors. You had Bull over at Stratford. Big Hat was about to leave. Still had Maplewood right there. Man, Glenn Cliff, Jerry McCray, and all them. Ken's was coming. He was younger, but they had a whip. Hunter's Lane. I don't know how I forgot about Hunter's Lane.
Hunter's Lane.
You talking about deep, and then they spark just hit. It was like, oh, the hell, where the hell Hunter's Lane come from? Like, you know what I mean? So it was, man, it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. You know what I mean? And then you had Odell kind of fill in for James. When James Stewart left, Odell kind of took in his place. So you had people, you know what I mean, still being able to carry the torch when guys were leaving, you know what I mean? And I like you said now, man, you see it starting to get back like that with East and Solid Marcus and what they was doing at Pearl, you know what I mean? And it's good, man. It's good to see, you know what I mean? And then I just wish it was one thing that I could take back. I wish they would have kept the schools not split, not with the public-private split. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that hurt to me. You know what I mean? Because they was getting down. Private schools was getting down. You had BA, Father Ryan, MBA. I know I'm forgetting some, but man, hey man, like you had to bring your hard hat going to play NBA. Michael Godwin over there, at NBA playing the point. Who gonna give you 30? Big Will Cole, he's 6'10", 6'11" down low, stepping out. Stretch 5 before was a stretch 5, letting that thing fly. Like, man, hey man, it was some real hooping going on.
Man. I remember as a kid, like seeing all of that. It was a great era of basketball, and it put a lot of pressure on you as a kid. Like, I really got to work on my game. I got to be better. I got to do this. I got to do that to improve my game if I want to get to the level that these guys are on. Watching as a kid, so it was just crazy to see that, and crazy to hear you talk about all those guys I remember as a kid. Because like me and my father used to go to so many games, so I knew so many hoopers, and I realized he used to tell me, like, this is when you want to get to this point, you got to work like this, you got to do this, you got to do that. So it was very valuable to me as a kid. But saying all that to say this, you played 3 years at Pearl, and then you made a decision to go to Oak Hill. Talk about how, if it was difficult to make a decision to leave the city, and what influenced you to get to Oak Hill.
Difficult. That ain't the word. that ain't the word for it, because you got to think. What a lot of people don't know is, man, I played 2, 4, 5 semesters at Pearl. My freshman year, I only got to play the second half of the season, because I had to redo 8th grade because of tardies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the oldest of 7 at that time. You know what I mean? So my mom was working late shift. You know what I mean? So I got to make sure all my brothers and sisters, they locked and loaded, ready to roll to school and everything. So I used to be late to school. Like, I'm doing my work and everything, passing. It's just my tards. I had something like, it was a ridiculous number. Like, I had to go redo the 8th grade because of tardies, not because of grades. Because you know what I mean? So I did that. So when I got skipped up, I played the second half of the season. Played full sophomore year, played a full junior year. And that was it. That's 5 semesters. So all that's why you getting your name. Now, what's coveted in the state of Tennessee is Mr. Basketball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I need that.
Mm-hmm.
I need that on my mantle, man. I missed that right there. So my junior year, what was that? I had to look at it. I got it somewhere on my phone. I want to say like 26 and 12 and 26, 12 and 8 or something like that. You know what I mean? As a junior. Um, I ended up getting runner up to Vincent Yarbrough for Mr. Basketball. But Vince was number one player in the South region, you know what I mean? So I get it. You know what I mean? They went on one state championship. My only thing is my senior year, I'm coming to get there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put on a show. Like I done built it up. Big John and them leaving. You know what I mean? I got me, Lil Damian, me and Lil Damian Harris already. Shout out to him. Just got the coaching job at East.
Yeah.
That's my point guard. You know what I mean? We ready to rock and roll. At this time, Paper and them, they were at BA. I think getting ready to go to Hillsboro. So I would have been able to play against them. Odell was coming in his own at Whites Creek. You had Lando, Springer at Hunters Lane. Like these are the matchups, you know what I'm saying, that I'm watching in the summer. Like, okay, I got to bring it against him. You know what I mean? I got to get out here probably after about 30. I'm getting this Mr. Basketball. So they have a talk with me. Big Terry, Terry Reynolds' dad, Coach Fitzgerald, David Whitfield, and my mama. I don't know about Oak Hill Academy. I know Mercer went there, but to me, that's out of touch. I ain't. That's a whole different level from what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could play on that level, but I got a goal in mind that I want to get my senior year. They talked to me like, man, it really tricked me. It was like, let's go up here. We're gonna go up there to visit. Lataire was already up there. Lataire went up there his junior year and played. So I go up there to Oak Hill, walk in the gym. For mind you, my wrist is broken at this time from playing football. When I go up there to visit it, this is before the season starts at Pearl basketball season. So I take a visit up there. Lataire greet me in the gym. What's up? What's up, Zoe? I'm like, what's up, man? You know what I mean? Hit him up, and it's my shooting arm that's broken. So I introduced me to all the players, this, that, and the other. I'm like, cool, all right. Big Kevin Ladd, Lloyd Price, Antoine Scott, Taj Hawkins. Man, they had a mob. Like this is most Jules Kamara. They got the most. They starting five was Kevin Ladd at center, 6'10", like Shaq in high school. Jules Kamara at forward, 6'11". Antoine Scott at the 3, 6'10". Lloyd Price at the 2 at 6'6". Then Taj Hawkins at the point at 6'2". Like this a college team, man. So I'm watching them how they get out. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? This what's up. But I ain't thinking nothing about it. Like I'm really just going to bed to see Lataire. Like I ain't seen my boy forever. So hit him up. My mama and Coach Fitzgerald and David going there and talk to Coach Smith. I'm in there with the assistant coach. I'm just shooting around with my left hand. Y'all now I'm cold. I'm cold. But I ain't this cold as I was that day. Like I'm in there shooting around about 15 feet with my left hand, and I'm making everything. Now I ain't never did this. So Coach Stoneman, who's the head coach of Burnell, he was the assistant at the time. He tell Coach Smith when they come out the office, Coach Smith was like, "What you think about him?" He was like, "If he anything like he is with his right hand, we got something." You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, you know, I'm feeling myself. I see all the trophies, number one rankings, you know what I mean? They take me in Coach Smith office. I see all the rings and everything. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm putting two and two together. I'm like, all right, I see the wall. Stackhouse, Mercer, Jeff McGinnis, Big Junior Burrow, like the Rod Strickland, the real Godfather. Like the list goes on and on of all Americans on the wall. I'm like, so it's starting to register to me. Mind you, I ain't never seen any people play, you know what I mean? Outside of with Mercer, what I knew with Ron Mercer. So we do that. I come on back to Nashville, play my junior season, have a ball. At the end of the season, we're in the spring, and Coach Fitzgerald was like, man, because they keep on telling me, you need to go to Oak Hill. I'm like, I'm thinking of every excuse in the book. Nah, man, I can't leave my friends. You know, man, I might even cry.
Mm.
I might even bust out crying. That's how bad I didn't want to leave. I wanted to come back to Pearl my senior year because the shit didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? And man, this is what you live for. To be this, I saw it with James Stewart. I saw it with Hathaway. I saw it with John Henderson. Like I want some of that. You know what I mean? So he was like, man, you got to understand if you go up there, you ain't gonna miss much here. Everybody's still gonna, the world's still gonna move, man. You ain't, your friends still gonna be your friends. You're not gonna miss anything. It's gonna be a great opportunity. I'm like, all right, man. So they call Coach Smith. Coach Smith gets on the phone with me and tells me, now this is my man. Coach Smith, my man, 100 grand. He tell me, when you come up here, don't worry, we'll get you in the ABCD camp and Nike camp. I'm like, oh, okay. So what people don't know is these rankings and that McDonald's game, outside of maybe two people, it's kind of already picked going into the season.
Facts.
But you got to go get your work done in these camps.
Right.
Show them you belong. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh, cool. This is my end. So I've been to ABCD camp my sophomore year, end of my sophomore year. That's what got my name on the radar. But I didn't ever go to the camp my junior year or nothing like that. So going in my senior year, my grades was so bad. Not because I wasn't doing the work, but at this time, I know about college. Yes, I'm going to college. But at the same time, I ain't understanding what your core is. My core, I'm thinking, all right, if I get a D in English, I can offset that by getting an A in PE. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't even thinking about the core. This is my thinking. I'm like, and it was dumb, but this is the way I'm thinking. Like, I can offset this. I just need a good average. So I get up there, and it was like, man, you got to go to summer school. I'm like, oh, no, this ain't it. I need to just go on back to Nashville. Because Smith was like, no, Slate, listen. All you got to do is go to class. When Nike camp come, we'll be able to get you out and you can fly on up. You know what I mean? You play. Same thing Melo did. I'm hot at Coach Smith about this too, because he let Melo miss 2 days of summer school to go up there and play, and he wouldn't let me go. But Melo was Melo too. I mean, I wasn't no Melo. But, you know what I mean? You got to make some moves when you got to make moves for guys. So I get up there. I'm going to summer school 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday.
Oh.
Starting at 9 all the way to 3.
Oh,
no.
Now, mind you, Oak Hill is in the middle of nowhere, mouth of Wilson, Virginia.
Yeah.
Nothing. When school is full, it's probably 130 kids. Summer school, it might be 30. So I'm up there all alone. Travis Watson, that's my dog. He came up there with me and spent about 2 weeks with me. But other than that, I was dolo. So all I had was school, books, and hooping in the gym. That was it. So I'm fine-tuning my game, but at the same time, I'm missing Nike camp. Like I was sick. I didn't get to go, man. You know what I mean? Because that would have put me right on up there. You know what I mean? Right where I needed to be. So missed that. You know what I mean? I called my mom and them. I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. Let me come on back to Pearl and do what I'm supposed to do. And it's gonna work out. It's like, no, so they left me up there. Best decision of my life. Best decision of my life, man, to go on up there and play. Because when it started, he playing a national schedule. It's different. It's different. We had Steve Blake as our point guard. Terry Reynolds had stayed over, so he was a senior as our 2. Cliff Hawkins that played at Kentucky. Now he already made his name. He coming from the DMV area. This man guarded Ronald Curry. Ronald Curry was the number 1 player in the nation.
In football and basketball.
And basketball. This man played Ronald Curry in the state championship game as a sophomore. And I saw the film. He guarded Ronald Curry with his hands behind his back.
Whoa.
94 feet. So Cliff got the blocks. When you talking about locking somebody up, he got the blocks. So that's him. And then me and Travis Watson rounded out the top 5. I started 5. So, man, we had a good bond. Went on, man, and it was on. Ended up going 31-0. Won the national championship. I ended up getting Player of the Year in Virginia. So that was my whole thing too. Like, man, yeah, I got Player of the Year, man, but ain't no trophy come with it. ain't no Mr. Basketball trophy. I need
Yeah,
that,
right.
man. You know what I mean? I missed it. I missed that dog. You know what I mean? Like it's in the USA today and everything, but that don't mean nothing to me, man. That Mr. Basketball trophy, like we
I
get to
mean,
the city. That's what I needed. So, man,
sure.
Oak Hill was a hell of an experience, man. There's no way I'm nowhere near the player that I was able to be without going to Oak Hill because it was a tester night in and night out. You know what I mean? Like I led us in scoring. I think I averaged 17 and a half. You know what I'm saying? And that was pretty good on that stage with everybody going to D1
Mm-hmm.
coming out of there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So great
Absolutely.
experience though.
Absolutely. And I know in hindsight, man, it's always one of those things, OG, man, you look at it like, man, what if? You know what I mean? If I would have, because the city was gonna be yours for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like you said,
No question.
you built everything up. You know what I'm saying? You built the momentum. You had the city behind you. Like
Mm-hmm.
you the chosen one. Like senior year, this about to
Mm-hmm.
be this your year. You know what I'm saying? And get that Mr. Basketball. Potentially win the state championship. Like compete for one. And it's funny how God worked, man, because just in regards to, like you said, man, that being the best thing to happen to you was being, sometimes God puts us in periods of isolation. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Where we need to, it's a lot that we don't see and a lot we don't understand, a lot we don't know, that we need to be alone at times because he got, he cooking up something for us,
Mm-hmm.
way beyond what we can imagine. You know what I'm saying? And so it's funny. It's like I said, sometimes in hindsight, be like, man, what if I would have? But then at the same
Yeah.
time, too, you blessed and thankful that you were put at Oak Hill and you was there for a
Yep.
purpose, not just for basketball, but also just for the relationships that you create with people too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
that's a big thing in hindsight when you look at like, man, you know, like I'm pretty like moms and Coach Fitzgerald, your whole inner circle, like, yeah, Nashville ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's hard because one thing I've always known about you, OG, you always had the pride of the city like on your back, in your heart, in your spirit. You know what I'm saying? And so it's for you, it's Nashville or nothing. I don't care
Yeah.
who it is, what it is, where you from. Like, man, it's all about the city. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So being able to leave that comfort zone and leave that domain, and then now you're going into a whole different environment. I know that was tough, you know what I mean, but I think at the end of it though, you being able to take that and, like I said, cultivate the relationships, cultivate the people, man, and then more importantly, it helped you see and understand a different view of basketball too. You know what I'm saying? You were able to be more focused. You're able to be more
Yeah.
locked in on what you need to do off the court. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For you to be able to be a better version of yourself on the court. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that.
You hit it on the head, man. And I think without that experience, and I got it, like you said, I got it at Pearl, and I got it at AAU playing with Music City players and things of that nature. But man, I think this is something that lacks in a lot of guys. You got to learn how to play with other good players.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to know when to defer. You know what I mean? Let somebody else take the reins, and you do something else, bring something else different to the game. I think that's one of the biggest things that are missing. In guys. Not knowing how to play because everybody now you got so many different situations that you can just be the man on your team and they throw some guys around you. You know what I mean? You may have one or two guys, but guys, when you get to college or the next level, pro level, man, if you're fortunate to make it there, you ain't gonna be the man. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like you
Right.
may be, you know what I mean? But it's better when you know how to play with other guys. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I think that's something that's lacking a lot of times. That's why I love the summer hoop sessions here. You know what I mean? The 615 runs and things of that nature. Because you got to play with other people, man. It might
You
not be
do.
about you. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
might only get 2 points this game, yeah, but y'all need to get the win.
Yeah.
Somebody else might be cooking. You got to be able to do that and get along with people, different personalities, like you said, man. And we were able to do that. Getting at Oak Hill, like here in Nashville, you play with guys from different sides of town. And you kind of mess like that. Getting up there, you playing with people from different states. You know what I mean? Whole different cultures. Like I never forget waking up, man, in the morning and Cliff Hawkins got that damn go-go music playing, man. I'm sitting there like, hey, Cliff, man, turn that off, man. What you doing, youngin? You know what I mean? Don't want to hear that mess. It's just I'm like, hey, man, come on, man. We don't listen to that.
This ain't it.
Yeah, we don't listen to that down here, man. But it make you understand different cultures and everything. And man, honestly, I don't walk into University of Tennessee able to play right away and have an impact without going to Oak Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like it groomed me from the get-go. From the get-go. We came in with a hell of a class, 5 freshmen, and we were able to compete. You know what I mean? That's our summer hooping. I came back home after Oak Hill for about half a month, but I was enrolled June 1st up there at UT, and all our freshmen came in. Me, Harris Walker from Chattanooga Brainerd, Marcus Hayslip from Lewisburg, John Higgins from Shaker Heights, Ohio, and then we had one more. Who was our other freshman? We had 5 freshmen. Me, Slip, Harris, T. Woods, Terrence Woods, who was Mr. Basketball coming out of Memphis, treadwheel, flamethrower for a shooter. So we would play us 5 versus whoever was there already, whether it be CJ Black, Isaiah Victor, Tony Harris, Vincent Yarbrough, and Dale Baker. And you sub in Charles Hathaway. You know what I mean? So it's 5-on-5, and we holding our own. Like everybody was groomed and ready, you know what I mean, to go out here and challenge. And there's no way I would have been able to walk in there and play without going to Oak Hill first, man. It had me ready. It had me ready. I probably would have got to that point, but Oak Hill it fast tracked it. It fast tracked it.
Big time. And it's, man, which is actually the perfect segue going into the next question, man. Just kind of talk about your experience at UT. And you know, what made you choose UT? Like why did you feel like UT was the place for you?
Well, I verbally committed, man, my junior year before the season even started. All my guys that were at Pearl-Cohn who were going up there to play football, Buck Fitzgerald, Reggie Ridley, John Henderson, then guys, some other guys were going to Carson Newman, Andre Starling, Kenneth Gates, Carlos Watkins, all them for football, you know what I mean, couple basketball. So I had my guys there. I remember I already missed all my friends anyway. So getting to go back up there and reunite with them, it felt like, man, this is a big high school. You know what I mean? All my guys here, you know what I mean? And they coming off a national championship and some more stuff in football. All the women being who they are, you know what I mean? Tamika Catcher, Shamika Holmes-Claw, Samika, like, this it. You know what I mean? Now, one thing I wish I would have did is would have took my visits. That was dumb on my part. Well, it wasn't dumb, but I was already committed, you know what I mean? And I'm a big loyalty guy. If I'm like you said, if I'm repping Nashville, I'm repping it to the fullest. It is what it is. So once I commit to you, I'm rocking with you. We on, you know what I mean? Good, bright, wrong, indifferent. It don't even matter. I'm going with you. So I committed early. Now I did come a time where I wanted to take it back and go to Kentucky. Yeah, when I got up there, we were in the preseason. We was in the preseason. We playing pickup, and all the coaches used to be able to come. So you get Roy Williams up there, Gary Williams from Maryland, Pete Gillen from Virginia, Tubby coming up there. And I'm like, damn, my coach is the only one that ain't up here. Like, what's Tennessee at? You know what I mean? They take this verbal commitment like this is what it is. Like y'all ain't got to do no work. Like I'm on the platter. I just gave it to y'all. So I remember after watching that, I was like, I went and told Coach Smith, I'm like, hey, Coach, I'm gonna be real, man. I got to open this recruiting back up, man. You know what I mean? I like what's going on. I like how Tubby, you know what I mean? How he was up there recruiting Cliff, Jules Kamara just went there. So I'm like, man, let's open this up. You know what I mean? Then, mind you, at this time, now I know the history of Oak Hill. You know what I mean? I know what Mercer bring. You know what I'm saying? I know what everybody means. Like they went to North Carolina, Touche and Stack and all them. I'm like, I need to see what this is like. You know what I mean? We know we got a mob and we finna go out here and wreck some people. You know what I mean? I know I'm finna be on these, even though I missed the camps, we finna be on these radars. You know what I mean? So he was like, nah, man, no, Slate Augie. Just wait on it, man. Wait on it. Nah, Coach, man, they ain't even came up here to see me play. I ain't seen no practice or nothing. He's like, man, just go back to the dorm, sleep on it, and we'll see how it goes. So the next day, man, they came up about 4 days in a row. All the coaches. I mean, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and rock with them. So that did it, man. Then I'm a football guy at heart, man. I love football to death. So my unofficial visit, they invited us down as a team to go see the Florida game when Tennessee upset Florida on their national championship run. So they right there hyped me up. Yeah, that kind of that pretty much sealed it as far as Tennessee goes. And then you look at it, man, they were doing something special. You know what I'm saying? Coach Green, he came in the majority of our roster was from the state of Tennessee. So when you talk about representing, it's different. It means something different. When you from the state and you playing there, we had Tony Harris, Miss All-American, CJ Black from Chattanooga, leader in blocks to this day. Isaiah Victor from Hopkinsville, Kentucky, might as well be Tennessee. We had Terrence Woods, you had me, you had Hayslip, you had Harris Walker, you had Dale Baker, you had Vincent Yarbrough. That's 9 people from the state of Tennessee.
That's big time.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? We had a guy, Vegas Davis, he was from Arizona, and we had John Higgins from Ohio. That's it. So you got 9 of the 11 from the state of Tennessee. It was already bubbling. We was on. We was on like let's go rep. Let's go rep. We done played against each other all our life. You know what I mean? Everybody know everybody. We got bonds already formed without even playing with each other. So it took on it took on a mind of its own. You know what I mean? It was just like a whole representation. Like when we say we from Tennessee, we really repping Tennessee. And we gonna make you understand what it is. Yeah, all these big blue blood programs and everything, we coming. We had to go with it. You know what I mean? Like we was locked in. We was locked in, man. And so it was a whole different representation of it, man. And that was special. That was special. Like, and I think that's when they always do well, when you can get the best talent from the state of Tennessee to go to one school. You got it, man. You playing for something totally different. You playing for each other for real. So that was cool, man. And when I saw that forming, that was another thing that made me go and say, yeah, that's it. That's it.
I hate that it's not like that right now. I really did value that back in the day, how schools in state recruited in state. Like even in Memphis, they went and got all the kids from the city, like Penny is doing now. Got all the kids from the city. I wish it was more. I wish, no disrespect to Barnes, but I wish he would do that more and get kids from the state to come there and represent the state, because there's still talent in the state.
Without question.
So I don't understand why that has fallen off at this point. But I want to follow up your career in Tennessee and talk about how your game developed more while you were there, and who got you in the gym on staff, or what may be the case. Who was your guy that got you to help you develop your game while you were at Tennessee to get to the point where you became SEC Player of the Year?
Man, the funny thing is, man, I can't really give nobody credit except my teammates. My teammates get all the credit because we were doing workouts, but it was, man, let's hoop. You know what I mean? Like if you wasn't coming to Tennessee to go to the league, this ain't the school for you. Because everybody on our team trying to get to the league. That's what we stood on. Because you got to imagine, man, we surrounded by greatness. We're surrounded by greatness, dog. You look at the women's game. You got Pat Summit coaching them. They got 3 straight national championships coming off the heels of it. You know what I'm saying? So you watching them, they end up playing pickup. That's all we did was play pickup. That's all we did. You know what I mean? So we sharpened each other's game. That's what really locked us in. And I think the next step for me was going into my junior year. Vince's dad was out in Cali, in Oakland. So we all flew out there. Me, Vince, and Yarbrough, Dale Baker flew out there to go work out. Now, this is the first time I done ever had a personal trainer. Because Vince Pops was there. He was on that. But mind you, Vince is really on the radar already. You know what I'm saying? As being that guy, All-American and everything, and ready to go and take that next step. So they know what it takes. I'm just, man, let's hoop. well, I'm gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? I ain't finna keep getting beat. That's one thing for sure. So if I gotta move and I keep on getting ripped, okay, I'm gonna get a counter to it. Just because I don't want to get ripped no more. It wasn't nobody in the gym that's just breaking me down. We went out there to Oakland, Ansar Elamine. He's a coach down in Florida, and I forgot the name of the school he coached. But at that time, he had Courtney Alexander at Fresno. Courtney was, you talking about a guy that can fill it up. Courtney Alexander can, whew, different. So we went out there to train with him. He got us out there three times a day. 3 times a day. We were in with shooting at night. And this is the first time I ever seen it, doing real drills, working on ball handling, working on moves, watching film of guys, Kobe and them. And I never forget, he made me take the game and look at it through a different lens. You know, and really learn moves. Like I really learned the elbow poke that people do. Like I just used to think before learning it, I used to think when Kobe and them would drive and they would lean, I just thought their body was kind of like flailing, but he was really hitting people with that elbow in their stomach to make the defender stop, and he was getting bound. You know what I mean? So little stuff like that, I'm watching. I'm like, dang. So I'm starting to pick up on it. But like I said earlier, that's the resource the kids got now with you guys. You know what I mean? You got guys that watch film and can bring the moves to the gym and teach you the moves. This was my first encounter of it. So going in my junior year, we had stayed out there for about 6 weeks training. So we come back automatically on a different level. Ansar flew out here to Knoxville, worked out with us for about 2 or 3 weeks. So we kept the regimen up. So by the time we go into the season, I got a whole different array of moves.
Mm.
I'm out my junior year. Ain't no question. I'm gone. Like I'm getting pro style training now at this point. So I understand what it's like. You know what I mean? So I started picking up things then and sharpening my tools and my game and, you know, being able to stretch the floor a little bit, you know what I mean, doing better on ISO moves on the post, knowing how to get by guys and getting to my spots. I started figuring out what spots are, you know what I'm saying, how to get to your spots. So we did that. And then I tore my ACL. So if I don't never tell my ACL, ain't no senior year, ain't no SEC player of the year. I'm out, regardless if I would have got drafted or not. But that was the only time that you had 3 guys in the SEC averaging. Vince was leading the SEC in scoring with 21. I was behind him at 19. Slip was behind me at 18. You feel what I'm saying? Slip went lottery. Vince went to the league. I tore my ACL. You know what I mean? So going into, so I didn't really get to showcase what I had my junior year. So when I tore my ACL, that kind of drove me mentally. I'm training like a pro from here on out. Getting ready to go in my senior year, rehabbing my knee. And once I got my knee and got cleared, I automatically switched to I'm not a collegiate player anymore. I'm a pro. And I'm gonna carry myself as such. So, and that's from everywhere on the court to off the court. Like I was no longer showing up to games with sweats on and then like I wore suits to games my senior year. Suits. Like they don't want nobody doing that. You know what I mean? I made the coaches go re-up. I made them go re-up. You know what I mean? How they put the team issued sweats on. They like what we wearing on the road. We're gonna wear the black sweats or what? Yeah, y'all can. I'm wearing a suit. It's business. You know what I mean? So I automatically switched. I was either in a suit or throwback jerseys. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's how I was rolling. And every time I came into it, it was business. And I think that was that's what led to me being able to dominate like at my senior year. You know what I mean? And also I felt like they forgot about me. You know what I mean? I went from making as a sophomore, my freshman year, 6th man of the year in the nation. Second year, my sophomore year, I'm 3rd team all SEC. All this while coming off the bench. You know what I mean?
Man.
3rd team. So my junior year, it would have been the same thing. Either 1st team or 2nd team all SEC. Going into it, when they brought the awards out for the preseason, I wasn't on no list. I'm like, oh, y'all really don't forget. Y'all don't forgot everything I was doing. So I'll never forget. And this is my guy to this day, Dick Vitale. I get an autograph. I get they had the pictures, the action shots. So I signed the action shot, sent it to him and told him, don't forget about me. First game they did on TV, Dick Vitale was raving about me. I think it might have been Duke in Kentucky United play early in the season. I mean, one of them. It was one of them, and he was doing the game, and he was talking about somebody y'all need to watch out for. It wasn't even an SEC game, two SEC teams, but he went on to say y'all need to watch out for Ron Slay in the SEC. I'm telling you, this man coming in focused. It's a different him. So I changed my body. I got in great shape. Um, got rocked up at that time. You know what I mean? They were lifting heavy. So bounced back from that and just went on to tell my senior year, man, and that ended up being how we got it. And we would have ended up making the tournament, um, but we were right there we was on the bubble, us and Auburn. John Higgins got getting ready to go in the SEC tournament. We got to play Auburn. John Higgins got disqualified and wasn't eligible because he failed a math class or something. So I had to go into the SEC tournament without my senior. He was the only other senior. C.J. Watson was holding it down, Brandy Crump, but we played Marquise Daniels and them. Marquise and them, they won, got into the tournament, and the rest is history for Keith. You know what I'm saying? He went on that run in the NCAA tournament. So that was something, man. I was sick about that, man, not getting in the NCAA tournament because it was kind of like the not being to go to the Nike camp, not getting to get on that radar. You know what I mean? That's all I needed to do was get on that stage. I was gonna go bananas. You know what I mean? So, but it was cool. So ended up doing that. Got SEC Player of the Year, third team All American. So I had a good time my senior year, man.
All right. So talk about graduate. I know you said you wanted to go to the league after your junior year, then the injury happened. But talk about how ending your senior year and not getting to the NBA. Talk about how that affected you mentally and how you bounced back from that.
Hardest thing ever. Hardest pill to swallow ever. Like I had I'm down there working out with John Lucas in Houston, getting ready for the draft. Shout out to Big John, man. You talking about a dude, that man's an angel out here on earth, man. Not afraid to share his story with you. Not afraid to share where he slipped up, you know what I mean, how he was able to bounce back. And he gonna be brutally honest with you. If you can play or if you can't play, he gonna let you know. But he also gonna let you know we're gonna get you there. Wherever you're trying to get to, I'm gonna get you there. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the greatest times I ever had, man, getting ready for the draft with him. So I ended up going to Chicago. I did well on my with the Bulls. I did good in that one. I did good for Minnesota. I did great with Miami. So I'm expecting one of them to take me. So we have a get together. My mom wanted to have a get together to watch the draft at the Boys and Girls Club. So the whole time, Big Luke telling me, "Hey man, y'all just stay down here, keep your head down, keep grinding." I'm like, man, look, man, my mom want to do this, man. I want to go back and be around family, this, that, and the other, watch the draft. You know what I mean? He like, all right, cool, go ahead, just make sure you come back. I get up there, I'm watching the draft, sitting in the room, my agent, we in the circle room, everybody else in there. B Wright was there. I'll never forget Brandon Wright was there. That was my young fella. B Wright was there, young B Wright, just coming into his own. So we sitting there watching the draft. Miami pick coming up. They called, they like, man, we think we're gonna take him. They called the pick. They picked Jerome Beasley Chicago first. Chicago took the dude that I dog walked. He went to Arizona State. I can't even remember his name. When I say dog walked him, I dog walked him. Like Trent Hassel, I never forget. We working out. We playing one-on-one. Me, him, and Tommy Smith. They don't know I know Trent. So Trent with the Bulls at this time. Trent walk in the gym while we working out. So I automatically get boosted up like, oh, my dog in here. You know what I mean? My boy in here, you know what I mean? I'm going off. I'm talking funky out there. Pete Myers and them loving it. You know what I mean? Trent like, okay, I see you, big dog. I see you. You know what I mean? Him and Marcus Fizer. I'm talking cash, holding my follow through up after. That's game. You know what I mean? Next, you feel I'm in my zone. You know what I mean? So I kill it. I think Chicago will make the pick. They ended up picking the kid from Arizona State. So the second round start, Miami like, we got you. We gonna take you. They end up taking Jerome Beasley from, I want to say Jerome was from North Dakota State or something like that, 6'10", power forward. Um, didn't have the skill or anything, but he had the height. Mind you, I'm right there on the cusp of that tweener stuff. That's what they talking about, tweeners and all that. So
Yeah.
draft go on, I don't get picked. I'm sitting there with my agent. I'm like, man, dog, I got to go out here and tell these people, I appreciate y'all coming. When I walked out there, everybody quiet. I'm sitting, there's probably about 50 people. I'm sitting there looking at them like, all family though. You know what I mean? Little Ant Banks, Anthony Guthrie, all them, the Bryants, all them. That's my extended family. They all there. My homeboys, everybody there, man. And I'm just like, man, dang. This ain't the end, y'all. You know what I mean? It's, I'm gonna crank up. This ain't gonna be the last you heard of him. But mind you, I got a knot in my throat. I can't even swallow. I felt like I couldn't breathe. You know what I mean? Like while I'm talking. So did that, walked on out, went to the club. And the whole time I'm just thinking, damn, how did this happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I did everything I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Grinded everything. So it don't happen. End up going to summer league. Did good with Miami. Miami in summer league. They offered me a partial. And at this time, this is another thing. Like when you got resources and you got OGs and stuff to call on, you got to call on them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what a partial was. I'm just thinking partial. Mind you, I'm ego still in it, too, pride still in it. I'm like, a partial, man, a partial. Man, they give me 1 year for the guarantee, not knowing that you get this partial, you getting in the training camp, you're gonna make it at least to the first half of the season, then they'll make a decision on you. You know what I mean? You just gotta get your foot in the door. It's a foot in the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, no, I don't want no partial, dog. They gotta do something better than that. Shit, they never called back. They never called back. So that was the end of that. You know what I mean? So I fired my agent. And I was just like, man, get me out of here. Get me to let me go overseas. So I went to Turkey, first year in Turkey in Galatasaray. Real good club over there. But I just needed to get away, man. Clear my head,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, get back to the grind and start it all over. So that was the toughest thing, man. Not getting drafted, but getting there, being able to get over there to Turkey and being in a whole different country by yourself. I mean, with your thoughts. Ain't no basketball, you don't understand no language. And it just kind of refocused me. Refocused me and came back next year, did the G League. It was a D League at that time. Ended up winning the championship in the D League. Made our first team all D League. Got a look with the Suns. Went out there summer league with the Suns. Made all NBA summer league team. I remember D'Antoni pulled me in the locker room and was like, man, this when they was negotiating Sean Marion contract too. He was like, man, we would love to have you. But it's kind of like a money situation. We ain't really got the spot for you. He was like, anything I can do to help, though, you know what I mean, let me know. You know what I mean? And he did end up making a call. That's how I ended up going back to Italy and getting on in the Italian league. But it's just crazy, man. It was just like another roadblock after another roadblock after another roadblock. And I finally got to the point in my career and I was like, man, it's cool. I ain't gonna do the D League again because like how you don't get called up. And that was another thing. The San Antonio Spurs was at the door. Chris Alpert was running the league at that time. So I go and have 42, then like 39 back-to-back games. San Antonio is on the line. They own the line. So much so, Coach Jeremiah, he don't even let me practice the next 2 days. He was like, we got to get acclimated to playing without you because you about to be gone. Like they calling. Like it's a done deal. So these next 2 days, I'm like, damn, right there. Right there, when they gonna make a call and get me on up there? They never called. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but they never called. So I ended up starting back playing in the D League. But after that, though, I was like, man, you know what? I'm just going to go overseas, ball, and come back and play summer league. You know what I mean? Get the same looks. You know, and it's different when you playing and you got some money in your pocket at the time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You ain't really, and you already got a gig lined up. You know what I mean? You playing a little bit more carefree. So that made me play better in some league. Balled out with Denver. Some couple situations went on with that. Man, that's a whole different story with Adrian Dantley, boy. Dude, it's relationships, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Relationships around the world. You know what I mean? So he had a beef with my former agent, the one that I fired. He had a beef with him, and he took that beef out on me. I got Melo vouching for me and everything. It's a done deal with Denver. AD the
Wow.
one didn't let him pull the trigger
Wow.
over some stuff that he got going on with my former agent.
That's crazy.
That's not even
Wow, dog.
that's
So I'm like,
not even representing you. You fired him and he's still holding that over. That's crazy, man.
dog. So
That's
before I
wild.
went down with John Lucas, I was working out in DC with Adrian Dantley for like a month and a half. Mind you, my agent is supposed to be paying him. So I tell my agent, I was like, man, I'm gonna go down here with John Lucas. He was like, all right, cool. Set it up and went down to Houston, worked out with him. I don't know he ain't paid Adrian Dantley. AD,
Wow.
this 3 years later, dog.
He ain't
This
forgot.
man, this man told me in practice, and I strike me down right now if I'm lying. Told me in practice, man, you still owe me some money, man.
Mm.
Oh, owe you some money for what? When you was working out with me, y'all never paid my money. I'm like, what? Oh, well, you ain't gonna be playing. Like, oh, wow, really? That's what we doing? We get the summer league. First game go by. I don't play. Now I got Melo vouching for me. Do you hear me? Like this is real life.
Yeah.
My guy coming through. You know what I mean? We get there. I don't play the first game. The next day we have a scrimmage that morning against somebody. I forgot who it was, but I had like 20 in the scrimmage. We had a game later on that day. I'm like, oh yeah, they gotta let me rock. Like I done got off in the scrimmage. You know what I mean? Now we get to the game. It's on. This man don't play me again. So I get back to the hotel. I'm like, I call Luke. I'm like, hey, Hoss, man, this man ain't even giving me no run. He was like, who coached? I'm like, AD. He's like, all right, I'll be up there. So Luke fly up there to Vegas. He walk in the gym. We playing. It's the first quarter. I see him walk in, and this is we had not the big not the top we had Thomas and Mack, not the big gym, but the auxiliary gym
Yeah,
Mm.
where you
yeah,
play
yeah,
games
yeah.
at too. So you
Mm-hmm.
know it's you can hear everything in there. So when he walk in and Luke is loud, John Luke is always loud. You know what I mean? So he come in, he's sitting courtside. What's up, House? Put his hands up. I'm like, I'm sitting on the bench. So a timeout come, he holler, hey AD, put my boy in. You know what I mean? AD look at him, look down at me, and do like that. I'm like, damn. I'm like, see,
Whoa.
I don't know what he doing. Like it done got personal. You know what I mean? I'm still being respectful about the whole situation and everything. So that happened. Second quarter come, Luke said again, AD, put my boy in. So he looked down at me, put me on in the game. I come out back to back threes. Boom, boom. Horn. Sub me right back out. I'm like,
He hating.
oh, this
He
nigga
hating so
doing.
bad.
Dog. It was crazy, man. Like it's so many games they play, man, but it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? So went on back overseas, had a good career, came back, played some league once or twice more. I was like, you know what? I'm cool on it, man. I'm gonna go and chase his bread instead of doing that. But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
That's
It's been a hell of a journey.
and that's those stories, man. Um, those stories, OG. Those stories like that you just told, man. It hits in multitudes of ways, but one big thing is, and I tell players all the time, man. Like somebody like you, for instance, it's no question, no doubt about it. You were an NBA player,
Mhm.
head over heels, not even close. And what you just explained also shows the business and the politics of basketball. And that's why, from a mental standpoint with players, I think keeping in context of, obviously, when you play this game, you want to get to the ultimate level playing at the NBA. But when circumstances don't fall your way, it can be such a psychological battle in regards of like, man, I put the time in, I put all the work in, I'm focused, I work my ass off, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. And yet, like, I'm still not getting a fair shake. I'm still not getting a fair opportunity. And what you just shared with us, man, just goes to show, like, a lot of that stuff in terms of making it and not making it sometimes has nothing to do with you at all as a player. You know what I mean? Especially when you go about, you're going about your business the right way. You're going out there, you're producing, you showing what you can do. And when it gets to that point where you hear these type of stories, man, when it's, like you said, relationships, like that goes a long way. And so I think I would encourage players, man, that may be going through similar situations, not just on the pro level, but it could be in high school, it can be in college. Like, a lot of that, you got to also make sure you are maintaining confidence in yourself. Like, for you, OG, for you to still be like, hey, man, listen, I'm still the best player on the court. I just need the opportunity. I just need a chance to just prove what I can do. And more importantly, like, I'm gonna play within a role too. I'm gonna play within the confinements of a team. But I'm gonna make sure I'm impact. I'm make sure my talent and my ability, my energy is gonna be felt. And when that's not given to you, or when you're not being put in position, or when you're not getting a fair chance, like, sometimes that can affect you psychologically. It can start to make you question, like, man, am I really good enough, or what am I not doing? Why are these situations not falling into play and to put me where I feel like I'm supposed to be? And so I commend you, man, for maintaining that level of confidence and still maintaining the level of knowing, no matter what, I'm still Ron Slay. I still feel like I'm the best player on the court. And whether you like it or not, by the time we walk off this court, like, you're gonna know who I am, is you're gonna respect who I am too. You know what I'm saying? And so and as Sean as well, man. I mean, Sean works with guys, myself, that play overseas, that we all know that they can easily play in the NBA. And so also too, you also got to kind of confine and redefine what you consider as success, because just because you don't play in the NBA does not mean that you're not successful. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't get the opportunity to be a professional in something that they love, and a professional at a gift and at a talent that they have. You still had a great career, great basketball career, and you not making it to the NBA did not define that for you. But more importantly, you didn't allow that to define that for you. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it's unfortunate, man, because it's, when we had Chris on, Chris Lofton, we had him, same kind of similar situation, unfortunate circumstances with him getting cancer and things to that degree. But like, guys like you, guys like him, we really feel like y'all were a little bit ahead of y'all time. Like, if Chris, like, OG, if you play in today's NBA, Chris Lofton plays in today's NBA. Now we're talking about positionless basketball. They're not looking at a 6'7" guy saying, hey, well, you're not big enough because you're a tweener. Like you said, you call it a tweener. Well, Chris, you're not a traditional point guard. You got to play point. Instead of just letting you guys be who you are, it ain't no question about it. Like, y'all were bona fide NBA players then, and you'll definitely be bona fide NBA players now. You know what I'm saying? But I think all of that going into account, man, and those things happening, and sometimes, like, like I just mentioned earlier, man, there's certain things in life, man, where we look and we realize, like, things that weren't meant for us, but it's also you have an opportunity to share this story, because this story, the seed that was planted in you, and you going through the experience that you went through, it's going to help somebody else in some form, some capacity, whether it be in basketball or whether it be in life. You know what I'm saying? But it does kind of, I'm not gonna lie, like, listening to the story, man,
it hurts. It hurts.
Like,
it hurts, man. Listening to it hurts.
Yeah. It's just, and that's just the pettiness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that had nothing to do with you.
At all.
Completely, that had nothing to do with you whatsoever, but the pettiness that allowed that situation to block you from potentially being able to achieve something that you worked your entire life for, and to say, hey man, I know I'm an NBA player, but you holding something over me that I had no control over.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
on the flip side of that too, though, but you got blessed tenfold, you got blessed 100-fold, way beyond what you can imagine. And
Right.
kind of segue into the next topic, talking about your broadcast career. Watching you over these last couple of years, I know you started with was it 104.5?
Yeah, so it's a whole story of that, man. Like it's to and I will say too, man. I remember telling AD while we was in practice, I was like, dog, if I make this team, man, I double or triple whatever he whatever he owns you. You know what I mean? Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what. But like you said though, man, I think going into it, man, we're finishing up the career of basketball wise. Like I was able to play 14 years, man, and you know what I mean, made a living playing professionally. And I think being able to walk away from each situation and know that I'm big on the respect of your peers.
Yeah.
If you get the respect of your peers, like it ain't a room that I can walk in where they're gonna be like, oh man, dude wasn't really, you know what I mean? When everybody's gonna talk good, you know what I'm saying? And I make sure that, you know what I mean, coaches as well. Like I always wanted to leave a situation and it was gonna say, man, I wish I had 9 other guys like him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's an impact. So that was the thing, man. And yeah, going into the media world, man, I wanted to come back and get into coaching. But it's it's difficult doing that also, man, because while you're away and you chasing your dream and playing professionally, you got guys that are getting out of college and they getting right into it. So they paying their dues as interns, as GAs and everything. So I'm catching it on the back end trying to get into it. And it's difficult to do that, man. So I ended up coaching for about 4 years over in Innsworth, tried to get on up in Tennessee a couple of times, but things just didn't work out. And like you said, man, earlier, one door is shut and God got something else for you. You know what I'm saying? So I went back to school, got my degree, and in the midst of getting my degree, I went on a media run, getting ready to graduate. You know what I mean? So I did a couple of radio interviews, and I remember one radio interview I did in Knoxville. I left the station, and they was like, "Man, you might need to think about doing this, man. You're pretty good at this." You know what I'm saying? So, I was like, "Ah, man, that's cool, man. I'm trying to coach, man. I'm trying to get close to the game. You know what I'm saying? Stay as close to the game as I can. And then feed back in because I love sharing. You know what I'm saying? So, did that coaching. After that stop, I started the Boom Boom Room. You know what I mean? Doing the podcast and things of that nature. And it was a guy, Garth Bolden, man, good dude, man. It was a small radio station, AM station in Franklin, 1510, I believe. Small, it probably go in a 10-mile radius, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, man, we can offer you. He took me in there to meet the lady, Miss Lisa. That's who gave me my start. She was like, man, we can offer it you the drive time hour each Friday from 5 to 6. You can knock it out. You got to go get your sponsorships and all that. So I had to hustle and bustle to get all that. This stuff that people don't know. You know what I mean? So I'm doing an hour-long radio show with no commercials. Like I don't know if anybody has ever just tried to hold people's attention for an hour with no commercials on radio or whatever it may be, podcast or whatever. So I did that. I did that for 2 years. You know what I mean? And then Ramon Foster, my brother, he got on with 104.5, and they had a spot that they needed somebody to kind of sub in. They lost one of their shows in the middle of the day. I think it was 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock show. So they needed somebody to fill in. So Ramon was like, "Hey man, y'all need to try Slay." Now, mind you, 104.5 is the flagship station for the Tennessee Titans and the Vols.
Yep.
So the Vols, I got covered. You know what I'm saying? They don't know, the people at the station don't know if I can talk enough about football because football is going to move the needle. NFL, then followed by Tennessee football, followed by SEC on down. So I get in there, it go well. I'm on about a 3 month trial session, you know what I mean? Trying to show, you know what I mean, that I can get it done. So the feedback was good. And then I got on 104.5, man. They ended up offering me a contract, knocked it out. And so I've been on with them. This is going on completing the second year. So
Big
getting
time.
ready to go on 3 years, man. And it's been fun. It's been fun. It's been fun. Then this year I had the opportunity to do SEC Network. And that gave me the
Yep.
basketball fix. Went up there and auditioned, did it in one take, knocked it out. You know, it was like, man,
Oh
you
yeah.
killed that. It was like, you want to do it again? You want to redo it? I was like, sure, it felt good to me. Dude. What y'all think? They said like, no, I banked that. I was like, well, shoot, I don't need to do it no more. I was one taking that thing. You know what I mean? Got it out the way. So that went good, man. That kept me close to the game. I was waiting on their call. You know what I mean? Like, man, when they gonna call? Mind you, I did the audition in September. You know what I'm saying? They just held the tape for forever. They called me, ended up calling me maybe December 30th, I believe.
Mhm.
I was like, man, what you think about working with the SEC Network? I'm like, what? Hold on. Put the phone down. I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. What they talking about? What they talking about? They let me in. You know what I mean? Take the phone back out. I'm like, yeah, man, that'll be a great opportunity. I'm gonna got that call. You feel? And like I ain't geeked, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
got the
Yeah.
opportunity to do that, man. And then I was supposed to start on January 7th. But the head guy, David Seisler, over all the basketball talent, got a hold to the tape and got to look at it. And he was like, man, we want to redo the contract and we want you to do some games. Have you ever called any games? And mind you, for 2 years, I was calling TSU games.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm getting my feet wet doing that. You know what I mean? It's funny how you get opportunities, you know what I'm saying? And they can lead to bigger things. If I never did the TSU game, calling those games, I would have never had an idea of how the process goes and how to do it. You know what I mean? The time and that you got to be able to talk and all of that and trade it off with your partner. So that got me prepped. And it's funny how I go full circle. Like Tennessee State is what prepped me, put the ball in my hand. You know what I mean? Now here we go again. Tennessee State what prepped me to jump into the TV part of commentating and things of that nature. So went right in and he was like, man, we wanna sign you on as full time. I was like, okay. So um he was like, call me back when you got when you know the decision if you want to call some games or anything. You know, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll give you a shout back. Put the phone down again. Like, SEC games? Y'all want me to call? What? Oh, boom. I picked the phone back up, called him back right 5 minutes later. Like, yeah, that's cool, man. Let's do that. So that got me in the door, man. And honestly, man, it took off. It took off, dog. And I think the good thing about it all, Sean, is I got to be myself. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? On each stage. I think that's what it is. So going through all of that trials and tribulations in the basketball world and then getting over in the media world, I get to walk away from each situation and I was me every time. You know what I mean? Like you can always walk away and be like, man, that's like when people watch it, they'll be like you said earlier, man, that's just him being him. That's the same energy he bring if he in the gym. That's the same energy he bring if he's sitting there talking to us. Like it's always me. So I think that's the easiest thing because I'm not playing a character.
For
Like this
sure.
is really how I feel about it. Like I really love basketball. I really love football. So it's easy to do, man. And I couldn't be more blessed because you know after that transition, that's one of the most difficult transitions, man. To stop playing and try to figure out what you're gonna do next, regardless of how much money you make, whatever it may be. You still want to have something to get up in the morning for. You know what I'm saying? And get that fulfillment. of you leaving that impact on something. So I've been able to find it in this media lane, man, and I'm having a ball doing it. And like you said, even when I was in basketball, I was repping Tennessee, Nashville. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Same thing.
Like I'm
Yes,
still
sir.
carrying. Everybody gonna know. You know what I mean? Where dude from? He's from Nashville. You know what I mean? All my
Mhm.
hoopers gonna call it Cashville. Like it's people ain't even never been to Nashville. Man, dude, you talking about dude from Cashville? Yeah, you damn right.
Yeah.
You damn right. That's what you talking about. So
So
yeah, man.
It's crazy how you and Ma have both talked about how everything's coming full circle. But more importantly, anything, man, I want to just commend you for keeping a level of professionalism when all the pettiness and roadblocks was happening to you, bro. Because I know that
Yeah.
took a lot, and I feel like people take that for granted and don't appreciate when people just keep a level of professionalism. And more than anything, I feel like it's God testing our faith at times to
Yeah.
see if you're gonna stand strong with what he has planned for you and your bigger plan, the bigger picture. And it's all like y'all been saying, come full circle for you, man. So I commend you for that for real.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I think a part of it too, man, being able to keep your circle tight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I got people, man, in my circle, man, that keep me grounded, tell me when I'm messing up. You know what I mean? I ain't afraid to say, man, nah, you ain't supposed to be doing it like that. And it is what it is. And it's been like that since I was 14, 15 years old. You know what I mean? The same people. So I gotta give a shout out to them, the people in my circle, man. And then also just being able to tap back in, man. I think that's the biggest thing, man. Like you said, man, being able to share your stories and be able to try to persevere through it all, man, because it's enough to shake you. It's
Mhm.
enough to shake you, man. But you know, it's always something greater, man. I think that's the thing. Not getting too excited. Um, I think that's one thing. Not getting too excited, staying level, still being able to, you know, champion those milestones that you hit. You know what I mean, to celebrate those, but also at the same time knowing that you gotta get back to work.
Mhm.
yeah,
You gotta get back to work and keep on going. So yeah.
big time, big time. And it's one thing I got to say about this about OG. When it comes to that broadcasting, I be tuned. I used to, when he was calling TSU games, I'm tuned into every game. There's three things I always take away when I listen to OG calling them games. One, you definitely gonna learn something. Two, you definitely gonna be excited because you're gonna hear his energy. And three, you're gonna laugh because he gonna give you some good laughs. So he'll give you some good
Yeah.
laughs. So man, big time,
Yeah.
big time. That's we proud of you, man. Obviously, man, again, man, you're a staple of the city, man. We super proud of you, man, and just seeing how you continue to just adapt and evolve. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, and being able to adjust. You know what I'm saying. So man, that's
Yeah.
salute to you on that. Man, one last question, man, and then we're gonna get into our pick and pop segment. I know, man, we just been like this. We almost 2 hours in, but I feel like we can talk forever. So
We can. We
got
can.
things
We're
going
gonna have
on.
to
You know
do
what I'm saying?
part two later on or something.
Yeah, for sure. But we're gonna circle, man. We're gonna circle back around to the basketball piece. One of the big influences of the 615 Pro Run comes back from you guys, the legendary. I call them the legendary, the Vandy runs, the legendary Vandy run. And I tell guys, man, all of our pros and things to a degree, like, this that's now been cultivating and getting the spark and getting the runs back going. The pro guys, college guys
Mhm.
coming in and competing against each other. A big influence and inspiration came from you and the era. Again, we talk about that era of basketball,
Yeah.
and especially when y'all were in college, and then also when y'all were professionals as well. Man, if you can, man, just talk about that experience and just the almost as if like walking into them runs, because I remember going in and being able to participate every so often and watch, but
Hmm.
it was a different level of precedence. Like, one, if you didn't have a resume, if you didn't have a resume, you not playing. Period. Number
Oh.
two, if you brought somebody with you, then and nobody knew who that was, you weren't allowed to play.
Yep.
And it just talk about the competitiveness and the pride that came from playing in those runs and how that helped groom your game and groom your level of just your mental toughness, just your
Yeah.
attitude, your swag, all that. Because man,
Yeah.
like going in there and watching y'all compete, and this wasn't a thing where y'all just played one day. Y'all playing 5-6 days a week.
Yeah.
It's time to talk, man. Let's let the people know. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, man. It was first of all up at Vandy, man, it was a hot box. So anything that you had going on, you finna get in great shape if you can make it through them runs. With no AC running around, and they had the big fans in there turning, and that wasn't doing nothing but blowing hot air around. But man, you knew what time it was, man. The hoop session started at 5. You better be there at 4:30, stretched and ready to go. Because if you ain't there when they picking, it's gonna be hard, man, to get on that squad. I think everybody. They sharpened each other, man. And then you had the vets that were teaching us along the way. You know what I'm saying? Like that was another way of sharpening my skills. Like I remember going against. I always use this example. Corey Allen. Corey Allen was my OG, so I remember playing against CA. This happened the entire summer. The entire summer. So anytime I would go to make a move and get ready to go into my shot, CA would rip me every single time. This was the whole summer. Like now I'll get some buckets, but man, the majority of the time this man was stripping me, and he never told me about it, what he was doing until the end of the summer. Like, you know what I mean? He held that over my head the whole time. So he pulled me to the side and was telling me like, dude, you showing the ball. Every single time you get ready to face up, you showing the ball and you raising up and you putting it in my face. Like I gotta take it. So that right there, that's what made me be able to get my face-up game together because CA ripped me for the entire summer. Like you got guys that were coming along, man. The competition level was crazy. Like you doing a great job of bringing pros back, but we had man Joe Johnson and everybody was coming to Vandy for them runs, man. Like and it was like you got to imagine, wasn't no social media at this time. It was almost like, dude, how is everybody hearing about this? You know what I'm saying? But they would be there. You had to be there. If you could hoop, you had to be there and you had to play in the pro-am. There wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the whole city would come out for it. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting all your prep and all your practice at the Vandy runs, and then you showcasing it at the pro-am games. You know what I'm saying? So that run in particular, though, man, you would have so many different levels of pros, college players. You may get a high school kid. 89 in if they lucky. You know what I'm saying? But that was it. And you can learn so much. It ain't no when you lose, you going off to the side and start doing something else. You sit there and watch because you picking up pieces from other people's game that you watching and you trying to incorporate it in your game. Like it wasn't nothing like it. It wasn't nothing like it. And I think that was one of the worst things for the city, man, when they stopped it. Vandy kind of tailored it where they had to have a certain amount of guys on the floor at a time, you know what I mean? Which is cool. Let's stay school, you know what I'm saying? But it kind of watered down the runs. You feel what I'm saying? Like it was more about that competitive five. You lose, you off. Ain't no you get to stay up because you play for Vanderbilt or something. No, you lose, you lost. You better hope you get on next or something that you might not even get picked up. So that was cool, man. It kept that competitive fire going, and it was always battles, one-on-one battles. Everybody still playing the team concept. You had to always be mindful of the time and score. That was another thing. So you were learning as you play. You know what I mean? What's a good shot? You know what I mean? Being able to play through fouls, knowing this possession, we got to get a stop, like help side defense. All of this stuff played. You had to communicate. So you were getting all that prep to go right back. And I was doing it while we was in college, you know, so I was being able to take that back to UT, and that was already getting me ready for the season because I'm playing against guys that are in the NBA.
Hey,
you know what I mean? Like, if you can hold your own with them, your confidence is automatically going to go through the roof, you know? So it was nothing like those runs, man. I think it's a good mirror of what you got going with 615 runs and being able to bring everybody back because you need that. That's another thing also. When you reach out and see these guys, like to be able to go out there and play with Mercer, and he playing for the Bulls at that time, like this man's a real pro. See Trent Hassel, see Sean Merritt, like see all these guys in the same gym, Dante, all these guys, and you like, damn, I can play out here. You know what I mean? We're only going to 6. You know what I mean? So every bucket counts. And you got to be efficient. You know, that was another thing. You had to be efficient with it. So it was cool, man. And then I think one thing that was great about it also, the OGs took it upon themselves to keep everybody together. So after those runs, it would be like, all right, y'all, we meeting up at Applebee's or Chili's or something. Everybody come on out, let's eat. You know what I mean? Get the camaraderie still, you know what I mean? And then, you forming that brotherhood without even knowing it. You know what I'm saying? Like it kept everybody together, man. That was great. It was great for the city, man. And everybody was prospering. So it's good to see that's coming back. That's one of the big things that I think was missing for a while, being able to have those pickup sessions, man. And even when guys got older, you would still have guys like CA and Tay and them, even though they ain't playing, they coming to the runs. You know what I mean? Talking to guys, you know what I mean? You feeding into them. Hey man, you ought to try doing this, man. Every time you make this move, such ain't work. You know what I'm saying? So you still getting game, and that's big time being able to pay it forward like that, man. That's so. It wasn't unlike those Vander runs though, man. Like I mean, from every walk of life, dog, you were not passing through the city and not coming in there and hooping.
Man.
And you're gonna be held accountable. Like you getting your ass bust, you gonna know.
Oh yeah.
That, like dude getting killed. It is what it is. This just might be everybody have a day. It just might be your day. Like I done had a day, like it's just part of it, man. But it's no way you walking out of there and you're not getting better. You're not getting better.
Hold on 1 second. I need you to repeat one more thing. I'm gonna make sure I talk into the mic so we can hear this. Make sure you repeat to all these pros that come to the 615 run and give my guy Jamal hell. Play through fouls. Like repeat that one more time, please. Play through fouls. Say it one more time, Slay.
You got to play through the fouls, man. That's part of the game. And if you get fouled, call it. You know what I mean? But it's got to be. Come on, man. You ain't getting the little slaps, man. That's part of it. You know what I mean? The hand part of the ball, all that. You got to be able to play through the contact, and it's about a mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like you go out there, you go get a stop too. You do the same thing he did to you. It's okay. It's like ain't nobody finna get to fighting out here. Like it's all right. You know what I mean? It's good, healthy competition. That's what it's about. A little trash talk. You know what I mean? That's a part of it. But no is all building for you, man. It's all building for you. It just man, the respect factor. You establish a pecking order. If you think you don't need to be at the runs, you're wrong. You need to be at the runs because you ain't getting better. You need to be able to test it out. You know what I'm saying? And you need to be able to get dog walked in there and then. That's part of it. That's your growth. That's your growth in it, man. If you can beat everybody, you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Simple as that. That simple as that. I wish I was talking to Amos over at NBA. I was talking to Big Amos, Big A.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling him, and he was just saying the same thing I was telling him, and I said, I sure wish that a documentary could be made about those times when y'all played. It was some bloodbaths, some war zones. It was, and I'm talking, and like you said, man, it was just the bragging rights. It's like it could be a week, it could be a stretch where one team they ain't lose a whole week. And you know what I'm saying? And it's just, and everybody just determined to just kick y'all ass because y'all ain't lost the whole week. You know what I'm saying? And y'all trying to hold down that middle court. You know, middle court, that's the winning court.
That's
you know
it.
What I'm saying? Yeah. So we got winning court. I think the court to the left was the first losing court. The one on the far end, that's the losing court. And you lose on that one, your ass is off. And
you off.
You may be done for the day.
You off. Yeah. You off. Yeah. That's it, man. Like that was beautiful, dog. That was truly, truly beautiful. And it was so much of it had to be tactical. You know what I'm saying? Like it was okay to guard bringing the ball up the floor. No, we're going right here. We got a mismatch right here. Like it's you and him on that island, and it ain't no help coming. You got to figure it out. You got to man up. You know what I'm saying? You can't hide. It ain't no situations where you can go guard somebody and be like, oh, he ain't gonna get the ball. No, if you the weak link, we coming at you.
Every time.
That's part of it. You better be at the hole, so you're gonna be able to develop thick skin. You're gonna be able to learn how to guard because you ain't gonna keep getting dragged, or you ain't gonna get to play. Yep. So you better go work on your game, man. You had to. That was beautiful.
Simple as that. And I think that's what we're gonna try to target this summer, man. Is kind of getting it back to that level of intensity. You know what I'm saying? And more importantly, just having more bodies there, of course. Getting 3 courts going, and then 2, just learning, like you said, like you mentioned earlier, learning how to play with different players, learning how to be able to communicate in different situations, so on and so forth. So your leadership, you're able to sharpen your leadership skills, you're sharpening your communication skills, you're sharpening
big time.
a lot of different tools, and outside of just working on your game, you're working on the intangible part too. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's gonna be a target of ours going into this summer, man. We want to get it to, like I said, man, 3 courts. Boom. Let's get it popping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I getting back to that, man, because I think, like, again, that was a huge influence on, myself, Marcus, Adrian, guys like Sean, like bringing this thing back into play, because that was a time, again, like we talked about with the high school, like that time. And I know for me too, because I was in college at that time. I'm like, oh shit! Like, damn, I don't need to come back. I need to make sure I work on my game before I
gotta be up to par.
Before they even let me through the door. I gotta make sure I'm solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And getting it to that point, man. And I think, like you said, y'all letting college guys, you got to be real special in high school. But
yes,
like we talk about, like a Brandon Miller, man. Like Brandon Miller during that COVID period, like him getting to compete and guard Rob on one position. Then you got to guard DG on one possession, then you got to guard KC, then you got to guard Alex Renfro, and him being able to play in that setting. Like, now you look at his development, you look at how he's been able to grow into who he is now, and now he's going to be a top 2, top 3 pick. You know what I'm saying? And so that's important. That's the nurturing, the cultivating, and the growth that comes from. That's the importance of having that platform, and what you guys set the precedent, for us to be in this position, and we making sure now it's our responsibility to take it to another level. And whoever behind us, we want them to keep the ball,
pick it up and run with it.
For sure. Absolutely, man. But yeah, OG, we finna get into the last segment, man. This is what we call pick and pop. How this works. We're gonna give you 2, 2, sometimes 3. Rarely do we do 3, but two different things. So either you pick one or you pop one. Now, our only rule is you can't. There is no. Can I do both? And you gotta pick one. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go with one. So we're gonna go ahead and get it cranked out. We're gonna get the first one pop.
Let's start off with something in the city. Let's start with Slim and Huskies or Hattie B's.
That's a good start. Sean, hey, Sean, this OG head, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, now we're gonna put that pressure on him now. Yeah, we double team. We're gonna send that double. We'll send that double team on him.
Damn. I'm gonna go Slim and Huskies.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Slim and Huskies, man. Okay. Shout out to the guys, man, putting it down, man. That right there, that's beautiful. That's beautiful to watch what they done turned that into, dog.
Big time.
And I think the best thing about it is, man, the support that they getting from the city. Like, they able to thrive off the support from the city. That's big time.
For sure.
Big time.
All right, we're gonna take it a little bit deeper into the city now. You from 615, you really know about these 2 places. All right, we're gonna go Sweats or Lil C's.
He said,
I'm gonna have to go.
I think I know where you're going.
You know what? I'm gonna go neither. I'm gonna go QC Kitchen.
Okay.
I'm gonna go QC Kitchen. You know what I mean? If this was the 90s, I go Sweats. If this was the early 2000s, I go Lil C's. But now I'm gonna go QC Kitchen, man. She got it on lock right now.
Man, shout out to
with Cal's Country Kitchen out the way right now. Yeah. QC got it right now.
Yeah, shout out to QC Kitchen. Hey, Sean, we got pull up. Hey, Sean, we got pull up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, the thing all right, man.
Yeah, like that. I haven't been there.
Oh no.
It's like that.
It's good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we gotta do that then, Mom. We gotta do that.
We're gonna pull up. We gotta pull up. Matter of fact, we need to go and just do a podcast episode up there. You know what I'm saying?
Sure do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure do.
Absolutely, big time.
Let's talk about it. You said you want to get into coaching, but would you rather do, coaching or skill development?
Man, let me tell you this, man.
Okay.
Damn. I love the skill development. Golly, I love the skill development. I love the one-on-one time. I love to see the work that you put in, and then they're able to transfer that to the game. But the only thing about coaching, man, it ain't no other feeling like coming up with a game plan and that game plan being carried out and it working.
Mm.
Like on any level, whether it be high school, AAU, college, pro, whatever, to put that game plan together and you go out there and they execute the game plan and you come out with a victory, ain't no other. That's a hell of a high right there, man.
Mm.
That is a hell of a high. Like that's because man, you getting five people, well, in the bench too, to take exactly what you gave them and they able to carry it out, dog. That's different.
Mm.
That's different. Ain't nothing like standing in that huddle, man. After that, and then going in that locker room and celebrating with your team for a victory. So it might be coaching.
Mm.
Yeah.
But skill to ain't nothing like taking a ball of clay either. And you know what I mean, molding it how you can and them turn and you seeing the finished product. I just had a kid, man, sign ended up going to play preferred walk on in South Carolina. But I had him in his 8th grade year. So to see that man, to understand the confidence that you put into him, like that, ain't nothing like that skill training either.
It's rewarding, man. It's
Yeah,
rewarding.
it's rewarding.
Rewarding, man. It
Very
just
rewarding.
is.
Big time. Big time. All right, man. Last one, OG. We always in the pick a pop segment with this. Loyalty or respect?
I'm loyalty or respect,
And we know you're a loyal guy. You say you're a loyal
without
guy,
question.
and you big on respect too. So I know it's gonna be this a good one.
I got tattooed on my chest. Respect is earned.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think it's like you say, talking about being rewarding. It's nothing like walking away and having the respect of something, especially when you earned it. That's different. Loyalty, to me, loyalty is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's to each his own. Um, but respect, like you ain't got the person ain't even got to like you, but you can get them to respect you.
Respect. Yeah.
Like that's a different level. You know what I'm saying? When you able to set aside your differences and be like, damn, man, I don't even like dude, man, but I respect the hell out of his game. I respect the hell out of his work ethic. Like you can't you can't go get loyalty either, but you just can't go get respect. Like people they find a reason to not respect you. You know,
Mm.
they'll find anything under the sun to not respect you. You know, but I think you can get loyalty through respect. So I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with respect.
It is.
I'm gonna have to go with respect.
Big time.
I like that.
Big
You can get a
time.
lot of things accomplished with some respect,
No question. Big time.
especially if you don't abuse it.
Oh yeah, that's it. Nah, for sure. For sure. Man, OG, man, I think we right now at the 150. We almost got 2 hours. We was close this. You know,
Y'all got to chop this up right here.
Well,
It's
this
gonna be
by
about four,
far,
5 segments.
yeah, this by far, this was easily the longest interview, but easily one of the best
It
interviews.
was.
Man, dog, just again, man, we've always, myself, Sean, we've always had an adoration of you, man, because of, again, man, you're a person of high character. Love your competitiveness and love your pride, your sense of pride, and your sense of love and loyalty to good people and the people that people that you support, man. I feel like you're just as big of a cheerleader for them as you are for yourself. You know what I mean?
No
And
doubt.
so, man, we appreciate you, man, just taking the time out to share your story, man. And again, that's one of the beautiful things about podcasts is allowing people to tell their story. And there's a lot. I'm just tell you this from both of us, man. Like just sitting in here and listening to the things that you were saying, man, and some of the stuff that we had no idea about. I think that's the beautiful thing about podcasts, man. Like you get to really dive deep and learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? So if anything I take away from this, man, that's just I got, you know, the love and support I already had for you, man. It just grew exponentially even more. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you. I appreciate you being a pioneer. I appreciate you being one of the anchors of the city, man, and just being not just for the city, man, but just for the basketball community as a whole, man, because your spirit, your energy is very contagious, man, and you have ways of speaking life into people. You know what I'm saying? And even if you don't speak to them, like just in the fact of your presence, man, makes people feel noticed. It makes them feel welcome. It makes them feel alive. You know what I mean? So, man, we salute, man. Appreciate you, bro, for sure.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. And to the city, man, hey, keep thriving, man. Keep thriving. Everybody keep coming together. We're gonna go through tragedies and all kind of trials and tribulations and everything, man. But just always continue to stay together, man. Keep pushing and keep pouring into each other, man. It's all gonna work out, man, and we all can go together. You know what I mean? I'm a rep to the fullest. You know what I mean? I lost my brother out west. He got killed, and I remember somebody was telling me, man, that's crazy, man. You ain't gonna get on there and talk about out west, like how messed up it is. Like, no, that's life. You know what I mean? I hate it. I hate it happen, but I ain't finna down talk my city, man. I love my city. I love my city, man. We're gonna get some. It's gonna be a lot more foolishness that happen, but man, as long as we keep on spreading love like this, dog, and keep on pouring in each other, keep being a resource for each other, being able to tap in with each other, man, we all heading in the right direction, man. So salute to the city, man. I'm always carrying y'all. You know what I mean? If it's on my back and I can do it, I'm there. You know what I mean? I'm taking y'all everywhere I go. So love to the city. Appreciate all the support, man. Y'all don't know how much that means. And I'm keep on doing it.
Yes, sir.
Well, we appreciate you, Mr. Slay, the GOAT, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, all of that put in one, man. We really do appreciate you, man. Keep giving back, man. It does not go unnoticed, man. It does.
Most definitely.
I promise you it doesn't go unnoticed. Appreciate you for real for coming
love,
back.
baby.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Appreciate you, baby. Now we closing out another special episode. And by the way, we did hit the 2 hour mark. So yeah, let's clap it up one time. Hit that 2 hour mark. Hey man, look, as y'all know, I'm your co-host Jamal Richardson at JMR Basketball. And Sean, you already know how we close out. Go and send us off, brother.
Hey man, stay prayed up, stay out the way, man.
That's it, man. Stay prayed up, stay out the way. Keep it simple, keep it plain, man. And OG, man, much love to you again. Y'all be on the lookout. It's gonna be on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple, and the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? YouTube coming soon too. We're gonna get the YouTube popping too. We're gonna get that rolling too, man. So, man, appreciate y'all. Much love, and we'll be back. Trainer to trainer. Peace. Love, OG.
Love, baby. Tap in.
All right, my brother.
All right.
All right. Hey, let's get on. We'll hop on live.